In almost every backyard garden, you're going to find support structures or trellises that are almost required in order to keep that tomato plant from falling over. Or if space is of the essence, you need these trellises so that those squash plants don't take over the entire space. Today, let me show you some of the methods and things that we use in order to support our plants as well as to trellis and to create better vertical gardening. Now we have videos on some of these trellises and how we built them, and I'll put those links down in the description below. Now when most people think about trellises or support systems, it's to deal with their tomato plants. And we've got a few different methods that we use for that I'll show you along the way. But the easiest and simplest thing to use is just a T-post or a wooden stake, and then to tie it as you go along. Now here I've got a volunteer squash that came up, and we're just using a metal T-post right here. And every once in a while, I've got some of this stretchy string that I'll tie up, and we want this plant to keep growing vertical. Now what I like about that is that it gives better airflow. I don't have this plant all over the ground. It's also not spreading out all over this pathway, and so the dog can't get into it. Or one of the most important things is it gives me the ability to keep checking on this plant for the squash bugs and the vine borers, which are gonna get here pretty soon here in central North Carolina. But this method here, real simple, real easy, low cost, works on squashes, works on tomatoes, works on eggplants, works on a number of different things. Now after the T-posts or the wooden stakes, the next most common thing you'll see in a backyard garden are these tomato cages. Now I will put tomato cages on all of our plants when they're young, including tomatoes, but that's only just to get them started. Those tomato cages for tomatoes themselves just don't seem to hold up all that well. During the middle of the season, the tomatoes just get way too big and it'll just take these cages over. But they do work fantastic on pepper plants. There's just enough structure in here to give the branches the support they need so that this pepper plant can thrive all through the growing season. Now, one style of cage that I can use for some of our heavier crops like our eggplant here are these square cages. They have longer points and more connection points down at the bottom, so they have a better chance of staying in place. But this works fantastic in a small raised bed to help support plants such as this eggplant here. Another system we really like are these green stakes. You can kind of build this as you're going along here, which is great for things like this cream sausage, which can get a little out of hand in a raised bed. But as you can see here, as the plant grows, there's a little clip here I can add just to add another piece of this 16-inch green stake. And then these here are all on clips, so I can just adjust them as I need to. And I can have it be as tall or as small as I want it, as wide as I want it. It's a very versatile product. We use this quite often, not just doing for tomato stakes, but I use these to hold my grow lights in the wintertime on some of my citrus plants indoors. Even just if I need a single stake just to hold a small plant up for a little while so the wind doesn't do damage. These are a very versatile product, and really has been one of those surprise items that we bought a long time ago thinking we might use it a little bit, and it's one of those products that we use quite often and use it in many different purposes in our backyard garden. Now another low cost, inexpensive thing to do for trellising, especially your tomatoes, is called the Florida weave. And that's just where you're taking string about every 6 inches or so and then just weaving it in and out of the plants just to create a support structure and keep these tomatoes as straight as possible. This is nice, especially on this here, which are Amish paste tomatoes. They can get a tendency to get kind of bushy. So by doing this Florida weave, I also am able to keep it fairly tight, which allows me more growing space in the front and not the need for the bulky cages down below. Another real simple way to do trellising is just using what you got. Here, as you can see, I had the tomato cage when that was a small tomato, but of course it's been growing up, so I'm just going to end up using the deck along with the strings and some of those tomato clips, and eventually just let the deck rail be of use and go all the way across the side. So just some string, some of those tomato clips, and you can support a nice thing like this cherry tomato here. Another simple idea is just use what you got with things like the fence that we have running around the garden itself. It works here to help support this tomato plant, and then eventually we're going to use it to help hold this squash up. I've got it started on a square cage, but I'm going to slowly keep working it toward the fence itself, and then I can just tie it up as I need to and support it as best as possible. Now, when it comes to these fences, another thing you can do is to try to get a little creative, like I'm going to be doing here with these figs. I've been working on getting these to branch out, and eventually I'm going to take these branches and go across the fence line as support. I'm going to do it also up here. I've got a couple of branches that are working their way out. I'm then going to just support that fig and just have that going right across the fence line. Now, another simple method that we use are these A-frames that we built about 3 or 4 years ago. We'll use them on our melons, we'll use them on our squashes, we'll even use them on our sweet potatoes in years past. It's just 2 panels that we made. Each panel is about 4 foot long by 2 foot, and then we just screw them together, and this allows the vine a chance to grow up and over. Sure, it's going to spread out over time, but once again, this gives decent airflow and gives us a chance to be able to see the plant a little bit better, and we're not going to have that watermelon plant sprawling all over the place here. It will, yes, get on the ground, but it won't be as bad as if I put nothing here whatsoever. So this little trellis support, like I said, works great for these. I've used them for the sweet potatoes. We use them for cantaloupes, and all I have to do is I just reset how much of a width I want by adjusting it and just rescrewing it in a different manner. Another method that we've loved using is these larger A-frames here. We have these in our pumpkin bed area right now. This will allow me to have these vines go up and over instead of just sprawling all over the ground. That gives me more space to grow other things, such as this corn here I have underneath. Now, in a recent video, I just showed you how we built this trellis this past winter. Now, this has been a great game changer for us in allowing us to grow a lot more things in a smaller space. We just have these really close to our raised beds, and in those raised beds, as you can see here, we have tomatoes that are doing fantastic, and then we have a lot of squashes behind me. Another nice thing about this trellis, provides a great amount of shade, so that these tomato plants here will help shade out some of our other plants here from the midsummer heat. Another thing about this trellis is it can handle the weight. So those squashes that I have in the back there, they're going to get heavy, and some of the smaller, more fragile trellises out there might not be able to handle it. This will be great in that it will definitely be able to handle the weight, and it'll also give us a nice look here for a place to just get out of the sun every once in a while in the middle of July when it is just brutal midday. Now, something to tell you about these trellises, they do a lot of the work, but they don't do all the work for you, especially in the beginning. You're going to need to train these plants up. So what I'll do is I'll take a string you see tied here, and it just goes down, and I'll put a clip on that, and I'll slowly train this up until it gets here onto the metal. And once it's on the metal, it's on its own, and it's going to go crazy and go right up to the top. Now, this trellis here is about 24 foot long, but I incorporated this same look based upon our original trellis over here, which holds our Navajo blackberries. And this is just a simple system where I can just tie these blackberries up to this single post. And as these other canes get taller, I can use the top of the trellis if I need to. But all in all, it keeps things nice, neat, and organized. Just like the blackberries, I use these same type of trellis here for our sweet potatoes. So therefore I don't have the vines all over the ground, but rather I have them just come up and over, giving me a little bit neater look and allowing me more space to be able to plant more things. Now, speaking of trellises, while this isn't for any of our fruiting plants or vegetables, this here is for our Carolina jessamine. It's just a gate entrance, and all I did with that, so as I sneak in here, was taking some 1/2-inch conduit, and I did put it into our little hoop bender, bent that around with some wire netting, and it just creates this arched entranceway to come into the garden. Now, another common trellis that you'll find in many households, and really not that expensive, is a cattle panel trellis. That's just where you take these 16-foot cattle panels, a couple of T-posts, bend them over, and you create this archway, which is fantastic for a lot of your climbing things such as snap peas, pole beans. Even here I've got, just looks like my Malabar spinach is off to a pretty good start and growing up the side. Very useful for many different things. Not that hard to build and gives you a nice look through the summertime. When it comes to our raspberries and our grapes, we have a few different methods, real basic methods, standard methods, I guess, for that matter, that we use. Here on the blackberries, you can see this post that we put into place. And then I just set a piece of wood here at 5 feet. And there's another one down there at about 3 feet. I'll then allow that to have wiring, as you see, going through and then just down the line where I can tie these plants off to. And that'll allow me to have a little bit more control with these berries so they don't go too out of hand here, because if not, they'll be all over the place. So I keep it a little bit tighter here where my distance is only about 18 inches between the two wires, whereas it's more like about 28 inches up near the top up here. Same for the raspberries. This just kind of keeps them tucked in, allowing me to still have walkways to cut through. And then here we just did our grapevine trellis, which that's just on a couple of wires going across. You can see here the main plant coming up. And then I have a wire going across here to hold one set of the branches breaking out. And then I have another wire up in here to hold the top layer of branches going out, just to give the grapes some support and also the look that we're going for in our backyard garden. Now, one of my favorite trellises that I have is this electrical conduit one that's now going on about 4 years old. It's real easy to build, the cost is real low, extremely versatile, and then when I need to break it down, it stores in a very small space. Like this year, as I've done in a couple other years, I got tomatoes here growing on the front with these spool string here. So as these tomatoes keep growing, I can just let those strings go down, cut the leaves at the bottom, and they'll be just fine. And then in the back, I've got some of the cucumbers growing on some hortanova. I've done squash in the past back there, but this is a fantastic trellis, real simple, low cost, just absolutely love it. So thanks so much for watching. If you got any questions or suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next video. Did you see that bee? Yeah, you saw it. Let it be. Thanks, guys.